What's going on, everyone? So, Dorian Sharpe to the Lakers is still a option. The Lakers are keeping an eye on Sharpe after Anthony Davis prodded them to add another big man. Clutch Points reported that LA wanted Sharpe in the Dorian Finney Smith trade. The Nets demanded more draft compensation, so the Lakers ended up settling for Shake Milton. Nets GM Sean Marks and Los Angeles Rob Pelinka could re-engage before the February 6th deadline on Sharpe, who is cheap, still just 23 years old, and a strong rebounder. Now, look, Dorian Sharpe is a guy that, we all kind of question. Like, when the Lakers went and traded for Dorian Finney Smith, it was like, well, why didn't they get Dorian in the deal, right? Like, the Lakers need a center. He makes some sense, right? Like, what has changed since then? Like, my problem with this is, like, this is now the second time since the Dorian Finney-Smith trade that we've gotten reports from people that are like, hey, Lakers and Sean Marks are expected to talk about Dorian Sharpe again. Like, what picks did he want for Dorian? Because if he wanted a first, right, well, he wanted a first for Dorian. You're telling me he couldn't have worked it all out, maybe given a pick swap and maybe kept an extra second, right? Like, and now you have 3 seconds to go make another move. Like, I wouldn't have minded something like that, where if you would have gotten Dorian Sharpe. Right, like you're not giving up a first or anything like that, but like if you told me, when the Dorian Finney-Smith trade happened, you still could have gotten Shake Milton, like get all three of them, right? It doesn't hurt. But if you told me, let's say instead of Shake, they ended up getting Dorian Sharpe, but it was a pick swap in 2 seconds, right? So we still had 3 seconds to trade, we still had multiple pick swaps, and we still had both our firsts. Perfect. You just got your center, you just got your 3-and-D wing. Now you could use whatever assets and little draft compensation and stuff like that to go get more perimeter help. Because now your center spot is already locked up. You're good in that regard. Now you don't have the pressure of like, we have to go get a center. We have to go make sure we get a center like you do right now. Look, I've maintained, I think the Lakers very likely go and get kind of like a cheap center. A Jonas Valanciunas, I still maintain is probably the most likely until otherwise. Dorian Sharpe, something like that. Obviously, they really wanted Walker Kessler, but Walker Kessler seems to be off the market because Lakers seem to really prioritize the perimeter, right? Again, like, there's all these reports that are constantly coming out about this, that, and the other, right? But my thing is, like, I usually try to find, like, what are the consensus thoughts, right? Because a lot of times you get reports and they're just completely conflicting, right? One guy says one thing, another guy says the complete opposite, right? But the general consensus all seem to be that the Lakers want flexibility in the offseason, right? So that's why you hear guys like, Clint Capella is now in the thick of it, right? Like there's talks about the Lakers may end up landing Clint Capella. You look at like Bruce Brown and Lonzo Ball and Malcolm Brogdon and these guys, they're all expiring deals. Or even guys like a Jonas Valanciunas, he has a $10 million next year, and then the third year is actually a team option. So again, you have the flexibility, right? So the Lakers clearly want flexibility, and they clearly prioritize the perimeter. So those are two things that the Lakers want above anything. So beyond that, it's like, okay, well, if you get that center, that cheap center, rather than like, say, a Nikola Vucevic, right? Instead of going and getting, him or, Jakob Poeltl or something like that, that's $20 million and makes money for the next, couple of years. Although Vu, you could argue, is an expiring contract next year, right? So they give you, $22 million expiring contract next year. Just thought. But point is, right? Like, if you do that, right, go get a Dorian Sharpe, or go get like a Jonas Valanciunas over a Nikola Vucevic, well then now you have that extra, 10 plus million to go make a play for another kind of mid-tier guy, right? Like, so now, like if you were to get Nikola Vucevic, you wouldn't be able to get like a Bruce Brown or Alonzo or something without trading one of your key guys, one of your, Jared Vanderbilt or, a Max Christie, something like that. So realistically, though, if you were to get, say, a Dorian Sharpe, you still have like 22, 23, 25 million just without trading any of your guys. Because just like, so for example, you could go take like Jalen Trifino and like a vet guy and go get Dorian, clear a roster spot in that deal, and then you still have Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, which is 20, you'd have like 30 million in tradable salary. So you could go and get your center and then still go get like 2 or 3 other guys if you wanted to. Right? Like you could turn Rui into 2 guys and Gabe into another, right? Like, or again, if you look at it the other way, say you get a Valanciunas, right? Well, you could just do Gabe Vincent for Valanciunas, clear $1 million off your books. So now you're like, $4 million roughly, give or take, away from the apron because you could need to fill out guys, right? And then you have Rui plus Jalen Ojafino, Christian Wood, couple vet minimums, right? You could free up a couple Ross spots. You have the money to sign guys, and you could get to like 25 million in tradable salary, right? Like that's the difference, is that you can get to, if you get the cheaper center, and that's all the Lakers really need, just somebody that can come in, slot in, give you, 20 minutes a night, play alongside AD a little bit, defend, in the time when AD's out, right? Like that's all you're looking for. I don't know what the Lakers are going to go make that big push. And even like, so for example, again, Clint Capella is supposedly an option. There's a lot of talks about like the Lakers getting him and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Thing is that like, if let's say the Lakers do pull that off, they're probably not going to start Clint Capella, right? They're probably going to bring him off the bench. So even if they do get a guy like him, now somebody like a Nikola Vucevic or whatever, and you could argue, like, oh, but Clint Capella, right? Like, he's making $22 million. You're not going to bring him off the bench. I don't know. I mean, Atlanta was, and he's an expiring contract. That's the difference, right? Like, and they're probably not going to look to trade. Where, like, you look at a guy like Jonas Valanciunas, he's got money for a couple seasons. He's a starter. He's one of the best, still one of the top centers in the league, right? It's a big difference. I'm not saying that they, like, absolutely won't start Clint Capella, but don't be surprised if he's coming off the bench or only some games he's starting. It's just, I wouldn't be shocked if Anthony Davis is still your starter or at least your closer, right? I could very well see Anthony Davis being the closer for the Lakers. Kind of like what they did that a lot in 2020, where they'd start, McGee or Dwight, and then AD would kind of finish the game. Maybe they do something like that. So it's a possibility, especially come playoff time. They really did that a ton come playoff time. It was kind of just sprinkled in throughout the regular season, but playoff time, they really, like, okay, AD, you're the guy closing. But nonetheless, right, if the Lakers can land a center, you land a center. I still maintain, I think, if you can get out on the perimeter, that's great. Lakers still have a ton of problems out on the perimeter. I do think Jared Vanderbilt, once he gets into the full swing of things, I do think he will help and solve a lot of that. But you have to get there first, right? And it's just, it'd be nice if we could at least get a Dorian Sharpe, a guy that can rebound well, 23 years old, plenty of upside, plenty of wiggle room. Problem is we don't know how tall he really is. Right? I mean, depending on where you look, Google Dorian Sharpe's height, and there's there's zero consistency. Like the only consistency is that he's either 6'9" or he's 6'11". Like everywhere either has him as 6'9" or 6'11". But coming into the league, he was listed as 6'11". So which is it? Is he 6'11" or is he 6'9"? Right? I guess when he's on the Lakers, we'll see. Like, is he taller than LeBron? Is he taller than AD? Right? Like, if that happens, then we'll know. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Dorian Sharpe? Do you think, they should still be trying to actively go get Dorian Sharpe? Do you think no? Stay away from Dorian Sharpe. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it.